the ELT is an essential component. It is required by law that all aircraft have something like this little box. It's gonna be, so as you can see, this is the tail of the airplane. This is the recommended van's mounting location. I have a couple of, well, okay, let's start with this. Artex basically says you shouldn't be able to, first of all, you shouldn't mount it on the skin. And while this is not a skin, it's not exactly super structural. I understand that putting 4 screws on there and attaching it to this little stainless tray is going to be, you know, helpful to make that rigid, but basically they say it shouldn't deform on a 100 foot-pound load, basically because if you crash, they want it to stay in place. But then there's the other part of it that says that this ELT and the antenna should be close to one another. So with the combination of this being somewhat flexible, which I don't really like, even though I have wires back here for it already, and the fact that I prefer the van's default mounting location for the antenna, which is here. The antenna will be up into the rear window. In combination with the fact that I've decided to go with a composite prop, an EarthX battery, so I'm a little bit light on the nose. I've decided to move this, 5 feet forward. It's like 1.5 pounds or something like that. Maybe a pound, I don't know. To this mounting location here. That way it's a lot closer to the antenna, and I'm gonna have to obviously pull the wires from back there forward and rear out, which is a total pain in the ass because I already messed with these wires how many times, and I really don't want to do it anymore, but it is what it is. I want to make sure that this thing has usable weight and balance with, you know, 2 reasonably sized adults and, you know, low fuel tanks, essentially. So next step is to figure out how to mount it, because when it's mounted to these, you know, these are not moving by comparison to structure back there, especially with it bolted to them. So those are much more like the recommendations, but now I gotta crawl in the back here again, which I thought I was done with. Are you ever really done with anything you think you're done with on these damn things? All right, let's get back to work, I guess.
All right, so we're going to modify the tray to put appropriate mounting holes in it. Those are based on measurements from the place that we were just looking at. Drum 40, 30, and 19, I believe, because we end up using number 8 screws. Then we're just going to drill into the structure to put the screw holes that the nut plates will use.
So there's an interesting thought process. I decided on nut plates. Fudge, I still forgot something. Oh well, it's okay. I can take this back out and mount it later, but I decided on the nut plates. And since it's a pain in the butt to get in and out of this thing, I thought, okay, what do I need to bring with me? So I went through the process mentally of what I'm going to have to do. Well, if I'm going to put nut plates in here, I need to use my nut plate jig to drill holes. All right, so here's your nut plate jig, and I need a number 40 drill bit, and then I'm going to need to deburr those holes, at least on the bottom side. Then I'm going to need to countersink the rivet holes, and then I'm going to need to have nut plates to rivet in place and rivets for those nut plates and the squeezer. So I just thought through all the things that I was going to do and the tools I was going to need for those things before I got back in here. Maybe, just maybe, that makes this easier.
And of course I didn't actually put the nut plate jig in frame. I think I'll probably move the camera here shortly. Yeah, there you go. That's a super handy tool. If you gotta make holes for nut plates, buy one. You do it right every single time. No doubt about it. So we'll just get these nut plates in place, attach them, call it neat. This is stuff we've done 1,000 times by now. Maybe not 1,000 nut plates, but there are a lot of nut plates in an airplane like this. I can't imagine on a big one. Yikes. That would just be crazy.
Alright, let's make sure that these screws don't obstruct the mount for this. Seem to not. If I can still secure it with a clip. We are good to go. And that does not move like it would in the back. Not even freaking close. I like it better. Cool. Out she comes. And let's take this out and get a vacuum in here, clean it up, and start working on the wiring.
And I'm going to save you the headache, or save me the headache of recording over, voicing over soldering wires to cup connectors. Instead, we're going to watch a cat. Well, he's not really in frame there. That's unfortunate. There he is. He's my shadow. He's been hanging out with me all the time. When I move this plane up into the garage and I work on it in there, he scratches at the door to come out to visit me, but I got the door open. I don't want him to come out into the garage.
Okay. It's been vacuumed out after everything. The wires have been rerun, or rather, wires have been shortened. Put it in place. Alright, so I come back. I'm going to temporarily put that on with some sticky tape. Let's see. That's super outdoor stuff. This should line up nicely. I'm not going to plug it in because once it's plugged in, it's armed, because that's how that's going to work. So we'll leave that out. I'm going to run this wire. Let's see how that's going to go. Nice. Do is I'll it's a nice curve for that wire. If I plug this in, we'll call it neat. I'll just leave that like that. Pretty simple. Probably move this buzzer in a little bit. I can't test it because I haven't registered it to myself, but I probably should now that it's in the airplane and it's. Alright, one last test on this. It's all wired in temporarily. There's a couple of things I might want to change here. Got the antenna wired. Got my other ham radio over there tuned to 121.5. It's within the first 5 minutes of the hour. I have good GPS signal, so I should have RS-232 data out to the ELT. So let's hit this test button here. You heard the beep beep over there. One long beep. I think we're good.